Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name is Alexander Howell, and today is going to be a little bit different because rather than kind of the normal, here's an Airbnb thing, or here's a Merida thing, or here's an advertising, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be talking about something that was actually really cool to stumble upon. So, my wife came up to me about 2 months ago and said, "Hey, you love Merida?" And I said, "Of course I love Merida. I better. We bought a house down there." But she came to me and said there's a show called Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, and the very first episode is called Growing Old in Mexico, and it revolves around Merida. And I thought, well, that sounds like a wonderful evening for us. 42 minutes of an amazing show. It turned into watching all 4 episodes, which, by the way, watch them all. But the very first one is the one that I want to talk about today because it does revolve around Merida. And I thought that that was really fortuitous that a show on HBO Max, download the app, would really be able to talk about this amazing city that, obviously everybody else had found except for us, but that we're now a part of the community. And we watched it, and it was such an amazing adventure because it's Ravi Patel and his parents, and he's really trying to, I get to this more in the video, but he's really trying to figure out exactly what his parents want to do in retirement in order to achieve true happiness. And of course, they go to Merida to figure it out. And they go to a lot of different places that we recognized and just thought, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing ever. Wow. Just wow. I really hope you guys enjoy the show. Watch it. Download HBO Max, Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, Episode 1, Growing Old in Mexico. And while you're doing that, or before you do that, actually, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm, helps this video get out to a lot more people a lot faster. And also hit the little notification bell. It just lets you know anytime a new episode comes live, like this one. Talk about Merida, talk about branding, talk about real estate, international or otherwise. It's just kind of my shtick, I guess. But anyway, really hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's have a good time. So Ravi Patel is an actor, comedian, and filmmaker, and in Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, he discusses a lot of really interesting questions in each episode. Now, the episodes there's only 4 of them, and it's 1 season long thus far. On IMDb, it does show a continuation as if it's not just this year, but the first season is only 4 episodes long, and I will leave it to you to kind of go in and check out exactly what the entire series is about, because he gets into not controversial issues, but issues that are very introspective and that you should look at as an individual to see exactly how you feel about them. But the first episode is called Growing Old in Mexico, and it first dated, let me check my notes. I was right. Dang it, I could have just done that. It first came out August 27th of 2020, so it's a very recent series. And what it goes into is he brings his parents down to Merida, Mexico, which I thought was amazing, but my wife found it first, and I have to give her credit for explaining to me that it was Merida and making me actually want to watch the show. That's just being honest. That's what happened. Anyway, doesn't matter. He brings his parents down to Merida, Mexico, and they discuss what it means to be happy in retirement, what it means to really kind of fulfill your life in your quote-unquote twilight years. Not that anybody in this show acted like they were in their twilight. Most of them acted like they were teenagers again when you watch the series, but he brings them down to Mexico and shows them this wonderful and vibrant expat community that exists down there. And one of the first places that they go is La Chaya Maya, which I about died because that was literally the first place that we went to when when my family and I were trying to find parking and driving around Merida. It was the first time there, and everything was kind of crazy. And that was the restaurant that we found and went to. And it was amazing food, great food, and a lot of different people, but they found expats within that restaurant at that time and immediately started up the conversation. Now, his dad was pretty much immediately into the idea, but his mom held back a bit and had a lot of questions. And I think that's normal in a relationship. One person is kind of go, go, go. The other person holds back. Normally it's this person is, ready for the excitement, and this person is the person who is making sure that everything is okay in line to there. And they absolutely fit that mold. But they had wonderful conversations already. People were welcoming and accepting. And for me, watching this, I was so impressed because that was exactly our experience. If there was an expat, even if there was somebody there that spoke English, and I'm not, and I think I've said this in multiple videos, I can get through a conversation normally in Spanish, getting better day by day, but my wife speaks Spanish very well. We're trying to teach our kids. But if you're in Merida, it's not like you're going to Cancun. Cancun, almost everybody speaks English, and that's kind of the expected language. But in Merida, it's very, very different. It's a colonial town. It's not as crazy busy, not so many tourist traps and things like that. It is a colonial town that has a great respect for what its history means. And the Yucatan is like that in general. So they immediately find, though, a lot of people who are willing to talk to them. And maybe it was the cameras, and maybe it was a little Hollywood here and there. I don't know. All I can tell you was watching the show, it felt very honest. It felt very pure. And the conversations were not something that can ever be scripted. And if you just watch the show, I think you'll appreciate it. Again, it's Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness on HBO Max. If you have AT&T cell phone service, you should be able to download the app and actually get onto that show. And it's exclusive to HBO Max. Don't quote me on that because everything can change, but that was our experience. I have AT&T cell phone service. I downloaded the app, signed into my account, and then I have a Chromecast. I'm looking over here because that's where my TV is. We put it up on the screen, and boom, we were watching this amazing show. So Growing Old in Mexico was amazing. They continued to really show everything, though, that we fell in love with about the place. And the funniest thing was they also kept going to random places. Like La Chaya Maya was one. There were a couple of streets I was like, I know we drove down that street. No questions asked. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, Paseo de Montejo was featured in it quite a bit. But they also went to, and I'm going to look this up real quick. Editor, please make this look like I'm not completely ridiculous. They went to a cenote, and it was a beautiful cenote, and I know that because I went there, and it was really neat seeing the fact that they were sitting and walking and swimming in the exact cenote that we had been to. And I'm going to probably butcher the name, so let me be clear. I know I'm probably going to butcher the name, and I apologize for that, but I think you'll understand, you'll see which it is, and most people, I think it's a very popular cenote. So I'm being an apologist, but it was Hacienda Mucuiche. And if that's not how you pronounce it, somebody put the pronunciation down below in the comment section. I am happy to change that. That's just how I know it. But Hacienda Mucuiche was absolutely amazing. It's an incredible experience. It's a beautiful cenote, and then they have this little river that goes to a staircase, or you can take a little walk around area that kind of goes through the rock of the place, and then you go into this massive underground or cave, lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. But I remember we got in there, and my wife had to stay back with our youngest because he was getting a little upset, but I went with my oldest, and he was 4 at the time. And so we have our life jackets on, and we're kind of swimming around this underground cave lake. And I'll never forget that the tour guide kind of swims up to us, and he said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "I don't, but this is absolutely beautiful." And he goes, "Well, so do you see the lights below you?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, obviously we put those there. They're not natural." Yeah. But they were like 80 or 90 feet deep. I thought maybe 20 looking through the water, but then I put my face below it and actually opened my eyes and was like, oh yeah, this is a really deep place. But it was beautiful and crystal clear water, so that it looked like something that was 90 feet deep, or it looked like it was 20 feet deep, was 90 feet deep, and it was absolutely incredible. But the cool thing about watching this show, just to get back to it, because that's what I'm talking about, is that they went to these different places. They went all around Merida. They went to the cenote. They went to the beach towns like Progreso and Chelem and Chicxulub and Guaymatoon. They went to those areas. And the entire time, Ravi Patel is kind of dealing with this feeling of knowing that his parents are getting older and what it takes to enjoy happiness in those years, but also dealing with what it means, that the fact that his parents are older and the eventuality of it. And to me, it was one of the most positive things that I've ever seen with regard to a place, because he's trying to make the point that while his parents are in the twilight of their years, they still have so much left, and where better to spend those years than a place like Merida, Mexico. And that hit me in the heart in an incredible way, because that's exactly how I feel. That's how my family feels. And that's what I'm so excited about as we kind of continue our journey to make sure that everything around us is taken care of, so that we can eventually be down there and split time between there and my hometown in Missouri. So it was a very neat thing, you know, his conversation of, if there's anywhere in the world that they should go to achieve pure happiness, this might just be it. And I think that a lot of people feel that way, and one of those people is me. Another really interesting thing was, there's obviously very happy people. There's very happy expats, but he really focuses too on the population that's already there, residents that have been here for generations, and their backstory and how they feel about these things. And they actually go to dinner with an entire family that's just people that have been there for generations, and they have multiple generations either within the household or just there for dinner. And it's a very positive conversation, and it's a very honest conversation. And there's a beauty in one of the parts. And again, all of this is spoiler alert. I probably should have said that at the beginning, so I apologize. But there's a very beautiful moment where an individual from that experience, from that dinner, invites them, Ravi Patel and his parents, to actually go to the graveside of a family member. Now, that might seem a little morbid, but it really wasn't. It was very much a welcome to our community kind of feeling. And honestly, having been there, it wasn't surprising. It was beautiful. It was an amazing moment. And again, it could be a film cruise here and we're trying to make things look good, but it never felt that way. It felt very genuine. It felt very positive. And all throughout this show, and again, I'm only talking about episode 1 of this show. I think you need to go and watch all 4 episodes. They're absolutely amazing. He brings up so many different questions. They go to different areas of the world and learn different lessons. But to me, the pinnacle of that moment, of that idea of, the acceptance, the love, and what the people are in Merida, Yucatan, in Mexico, was that moment. Not an immediate acceptance, not a, we'll come here because it's, going to make for good TV. It was, I want you to experience what we experience. I want you to appreciate that. And somebody from the outside understanding what that meant. And that's just kind of honestly what, again, I wasn't surprised. It was a beautiful, touching moment, but I wasn't surprised because that was kind of our entire experience down there, was just watching this amazing community of people show us why Merida exists as such an amazing place. And so, it kind of brings a tear to your eye a bit, but it's also an amazing, amazing positive to just see that and just realize, like, you were in a place where they have people like that are that positive, that are that amazing, and you get to experience that, hopefully, at least half the year when you get a little bit older. That's the way I felt, but they were experiencing it right there. And what an amazing thing to have on television. All of that being said, the key piece, the key part of the entirety of this episode of Growing Old in Mexico, for, again, I'm going to plug it, Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness. Look it up, HBO Max, enjoy it. But the entire idea behind it was, there is an expat community that is incredibly accepting. And many of you have sent me emails or left YouTube comments or Facebook comments, and you've said, do I have this? I've actually, in the last week, I think I've had 5 or 6 emails directly discussing, is there a community down there for me? I'm this age, I'm this age, I'm this age. Are there people down there that have the same experience, that are down there for retirement, or down there as a transition into a different life, that are down there as people who are just trying to escape and live a different lifestyle? And the answer is yes. There's an incredible community of expats down there, and each and every one of them that I have seen, I will pin that just a bit, everyone that I have talked to, that I have interacted with, has been absolutely incredible. Answering questions, giving takes. I mean, something as simple as, which restaurant should you go to if you want this, to here's the exact feeling we had about why we moved down here. Here were the terrifying thoughts that we had. We were worried about leaving family. We were worried about, whatever it might be. Why did we do it? To where can I get the coldest beer? Every single one of those things has been answered on expat forums, and I have just been amazed at that community. And this show did nothing to shake my confidence that that community will continue to exist, because everything they showed was almost a mirror image of our experience in Merida and the surrounding community, Yucatan in general. So that to me was what I walked away with. This incredible feeling of him truly defining what it was without Hollywooding it up. He didn't go to Merida and say, oh, Merida's scary because it's Mexico, or Merida's the perfect beach town, even though it doesn't have a beach. The beach is many kilometers away, 20, 25 kilometers away. He discussed it as, here's what the experience was, here's what my parents found, and here's what we came away with. And at the very end, and I'm not going to spoiler alert it because I'm not going to say, but I think anybody who's been there, is thinking about going there, would either appreciate and understand his commentary or be excited to go to Merida because of the conclusion that he drew. So, Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, Episode 1, Growing Old in Mexico, first aired August 27th, 2020. Guys, go watch it. He's an amazing person, but it's an amazing show. And if you're thinking about moving to Merida, if you have just a need to kind of re-up your enthusiasm about the place, you're going to really like it. All right, guys. Well, that's the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm and helps us kind of grow over here. Also, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified anytime one of these episodes goes live. Please feel free to follow me on social media. Pretty much anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, those kind of things. I'm at Alexander from KC. Kansas City, so at Alexander from KC. LinkedIn, if you want to get connected professionally, just look me up, Alexander L. Howell. It's linkedin.com/n/Alexander L. Howell, Howell. So, way to be complicated. Also, follow me on twitch.tv/Alexander from KC. I'm still working on getting my live streaming up and running. Everything is going well, just trying to figure out exactly what the schedule is so that my time is well spent there. You guys can tune in live. I can answer any questions that you have. So if you follow me on social media, you're going to see updates. And once I get an actual finalized schedule, you will be the first to know. And again, always feel free to email me with any questions you might have, alexander@alexanderhowell.com, or visit my website, alexanderhowell.com, and it should be able to kind of guide you to all of those different things as well. I have to say, this was a fun episode because I've never really done a review of anything, but I also feel like I kind of went on a bit of a tangent about exactly why I appreciated Merida as opposed to just talking about the show. But when you watch the episode, it's 42 minutes of your time, and especially if you appreciate the place, you're going to see where I'm coming from. This is a positive endorsement of a place that I really, really love and appreciate. But also, just watch the rest of the series too. I mean, probably 40 to 45 minutes per episode, and they're all incredibly informative, and Ravi raises a lot of provocative questions that I think are things that we all need to think about. So just check it out on HBO Max, download the app. Not getting paid or anything. HBO has way better things to do than that. But Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness. Hope you enjoy. And again, guys, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Peace.